Welcome back to Chartwell Uplift, everybody. It is week 27 and we have an action-packed walkthrough for you today with lots of great tips and tricks. Stay tuned to learn. Okay, so here we are in the primary ensuite, and folks, it is so important, so important. If you're a contractor or a homeowner alike, I really want to make sure you do a thorough walkthrough before you start insulating. And the reason being is sometimes you just see things when stuff starts to go in that just starts to not make sense. Case in point, we've got two pot lights over a future tub. So eventually there'll be a tub here. And we've got two pot lights there. And so, I suggested, well, what if we do a chandelier and delete the pots, or do something, or maybe just do one pot or something like that. Two pots in this small area is pretty excessive. And the other thing too, is if you're lying in a tub, right, your head is going to be at either end. So if you have pot lights at either end, those pot lights are going to be shining directly down into your eyes. So, these are the sorts of things that I try to think about when we're going through this stuff with our clients. And little easy tips for you guys. The other thing too is when we looked at the ceiling, there's just a lot of pot lights. And, the general rule of thumb, right, is with a 4-inch pot light, you more or less want a pot light 4 foot on center, give or take, for active areas. What are active areas? Kitchens, maybe like laundry areas where you're folding, but stuff where you really need to be able to see what you're doing, right? If it is more passive, like hallways or bedrooms or that sort of thing, 5 feet, 5'6" is perfect. Now, if you start going past that 5'6" mark and they're kind of close together, you're gonna find shadows forming on the floor. In bedrooms, we'll usually do 4 pot lights or something like that in most bedrooms. And so you'll have a shadow, but it's usually over where the bed area is or at the foot of the bed, and who really cares, right? So anyways, 4 feet, 5 foot, 5'6" for passive. That's my rule of thumb for you. The other thing that we notice is we have this plug facing out, and the designers are like, not really vibing on having a plug facing out. So what they came up with was an idea to actually install this plug using a different plug, which the name has escaped my brain for the moment. But anyways, we're gonna flip that upside down and have it so that you would plug up into it. So that is just gonna help to clean up this backsplash area here. Okay, so the other thing too that I look for pretty exhaustively is unfortunately, well, not fortunately, I have ADD. Unfortunately, it makes me hear everything that I don't want to hear or shouldn't need to hear. And so if these pipes are loose in the wall, what's going to happen is every time somebody turns a tap on or off, you're going to get what's called a water hammer effect. And that can cause these pipes to slap against the stud, causing noise. Very annoying. Make sure that your water pipes are clipped. I think it's supposed to be like every couple of feet, every 2 feet, 30 inches. I don't know. That's not my area of expertise. I just go and see, we're looking good. We're getting closer and closer and closer. We're definitely going to need to make some modifications before we're ready to start insulating. But again, folks, it is so much easier to make changes now than get the drywall done and look around and be like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. So much more expensive, so much more headache. Get it exactly as you want it before you start insulating, and that is going to make your life infinitely better into the future. So here we are at the top of the stairs, and maybe you're like, well, what the hell is going on? Well, the team framed up a temporary floor. We have a bunch of pot light work that we needed to do, and because we've caused all this damage to the drywall, we now need to do drywall work. And so you can obviously set up some sort of like bojang scaffolding or whatever else. It's generally more unsafe, and it's just more inconvenient and more of a hassle. So what we found works really well is just to frame up temporary floors. The lumber can be repurposed and reused on another project, so we can sell the lumber to another client. And for the client that we're doing the work for, it just yields a better product because the trades can actually access the things that they need to access to do a really good job for our clients. So here we are on the main floor, and I noticed when I was up on the ladder that there's some details that need a little bit of love. So the team is gonna address those details later on this week. But again, we've got everything coming together very nicely in here. I'm really impressed with the design our team came up with for this space. I think it is going to look amazing, and I strongly urge you to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned to see future updates for this project because it is going to be very, very cool. I mean, all of our projects are really cool. They all have different areas where I think it's going to be cooler. How about that? All right, so coming over here into the kitchen area, we've got plugs over here. We've got a big 3-foot sink here, more plugs there. Where's the range going? I don't remember. Right here. Hood fan, makes sense. And then we've got fridge, freezer over here. And then to the left of Kyle right now is a kind of a bar, pantry sort of storage area over here. So this stuff is all gonna be super, super cool once it's all done. Again, it's just get here, get with your contractor or get with your client and get on site and go through everything and really envision how you're gonna live in that home and do your absolute best to really think through how it's going to function, right? So many times people spend all of this time and effort thinking about, oh, is this gonna look pretty? Is that gonna look pretty? Also think about how are you going to function in that space on a day-to-day basis, right? Like, for example, if the only switches for this space were over here and the bedrooms come from that space over here, well, then you're schlepping the whole way across the kitchen to turn on the lights. So, I mean, we do have lighting control on the other side for the kitchen. But as an example for something to look for, right, is make sure that the home is going to work for you. Make sure there are plugs where you are going to want them in the future, and do your best to think about the different ways that you could potentially live. I mean, you can spend tens of thousands of dollars trying to future-proof for everything, so I don't necessarily encourage that, but just think about it. Think about what future you might need. That's a wrap in today, everybody. Did you know that Sprucehill are experts in major home transformations? Well, if you didn't, now you do. We would love to be your partners in success if you are considering any sort of home transformation yourself. You can reach us on the web. Kyle's nodding, so I got it right. Or phone us there. Either way, we would love to connect with you. In the meantime, I sure would appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel or follow us. Like the video. We really appreciate your support. If you have any questions or thoughts about future content ideas, we would love to hear those too. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Stay awesome, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.